What is up? What is good? What is up, everyone? Today I got some niceness for y'all. So today we're gonna be talking about sales, and I'm basically gonna show you essentially how to keep your sales pitch in particular under 10 minutes during your sales calls. I'm Nate. I've closed like thousands, tens of thousands, almost hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales. I've been doing this for like only 4 months, and I've already closed, that much. So yeah, I'm gonna show you like essentially what it's taken, especially when it comes to the sales pitch, and how to essentially not oversell yourself while you're doing this. So everything I'm gonna be talking about here, I have to give credit where credit is due. Kudos to the GOAT, Cole Gordon. So essentially, this is going to be how it looks like once you, like this part of the sales pitch that I'll be talking about is what, like all the way down here, and it can only work if you have banged out all these other parts. If you guys are resonating with what I'm talking about, maybe I can, one day talk about everything else over here. But up until then, like I said, shout outs to Cole Gordon. He's the GOAT. This is purely from him, and I just ripped it out. And essentially, what this does, it's a process that it will be able to take any prospect who hops on the call. From when they hop on the call, they don't know anything about you, and they do not plan on buying. And within 45 minutes, you take them from completely cold to they're giving you their credit card they want to pay. Boom. So yeah, so like I said, this is particularly to do with your pitch. So like I said, the pitch is all the way down here. So this only works if everything else is solid and you've gone through all these parts already in your sales call. Cool. So typically, let me give some context of how we even got here in the first place. So typically, this is how my pitches used to go when I first started out. I would come, and once I've talked about everything else, now I'm getting to my pitch. I would like show this long process, which is everything we do, and I thought it made sense, and to some extent it does. But you can show them this just as a placeholder on the screen, but you don't have to get into the nitty-gritties of every single part of every single moving element of what you're gonna do, blah blah blah. Nah. For your pitch, essentially the core framework is you essentially want to bunch it into pillars, and you want to bunch it into 3 pillars that primarily touch on the pain points. As you can see here, it's all about the pain points. Sales is all about pain points, and you're essentially trying to solve someone's pain. They don't care about what you do. They ultimately just care about the outcome of what you do and how that outcome is going to, change however it is they've been currently operating. Make sense? I hope it does. So, like I said, pain points. So by this point, you've talked about the pain points. You discovered it here when you were doing the information gathering, and realistically, as you're doing all these other questions, you're essentially making the prospect sell themselves. So by the time you're even getting to the pitch, they're ultimately selling themselves as you break this down into these pillars. Okay? So essentially, now what you do here is this is how the framework works essentially for each pillar. So what you do is you discuss the before situation of the clients, where you specifically touch on the pain points. So you talk about the before situation of most clients who come and deal with you. How have they been doing when it comes to a particular area and pain point, the pillar that you've allocated, and then you discuss what your solution is going to do in order to remove that pain point, and then finally you discuss exactly what that means for the client when they move forward with you. So let me give you an example. So our offer, one of the main elements of our offer, as you can see here, is content and creating these sales assets, these viral sales assets. So this is content, long form content, short form content, content in general, and we come and automate all of this for you. So with this, you're leveraging time, because that's usually the pain point that most clients have. They don't have the time to go about doing all of this. So the way this would look is you discuss the before situation, touching on their pain points. So that's like most of our clients usually come to us because they simply just don't have the time to create content and figure out what's actually going on to build an audience. And there's so many methods, so it's very easy to get confused and waste unnecessary time on things that don't matter. So that's what you've done. Boom, paragraph 1. You've discussed the before situation of this pain point. Next, you talk about what your solution is going to do in order to remove the pain point. So now you come in. So you've said the first paragraph, boom, very quick, like a minute, like even less than, because it's very, you'd be surprised how fast this goes on, because ideally you're supposed to say all of this at once, all the different pillars at once, but I'll break it down step by step. So it's gonna be like, now when you're discussing the solution, it's okay, so what we do is we do all of that for you. We help you structure your content so you know exactly what you're going to say, how you're going to say it. We give you the exact step-by-step process that have been used to grow multiple 7-figure brands. So that's now what our solution is going to do. We come and we basically come and remove that element of time, so you don't have to think about spending any time on it. And then finally you discuss what that means exactly for the client if they move forward with you. So you go like, so you've said this, you're like, okay, so what we do is that we do all of that for you. We help you structure your content, blah, 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 grow multiple 7-figure business. And what that means to you is, instead of banging your head against the wall, spending endless hours, weeks, and months there trying to piece it all together on your own, we just do it all for you. So, the time you put into creating your content actually can create warm leads. Does that make sense? And you always have to drop the does that make sense, so that you don't sound like a robotic, sort of salesperson. You don't sound like, you're just some AI who's trying to sell them, You have to piece it all together. So, now when you get into your pitch, essentially how this would look is you have this on your screen, your entire process, and then you go pillar by pillar of the different pain points that you've already picked out through the sales call, throughout the sales call. So like I said, throughout the sales call, you're going to find out the different pain points that they have, and you're going to find out a lot. And essentially all this that you're finding out is so that they can sell themselves ultimately. So the way it would look now for a different pillar would be conversion. How do you actually convert? This is another pillar of our offer, and the pain point that it touches on is money and status. So over here, this is our conversion offer, where we show you how to monetize that attention. So the way that would look, like I said, before situation, what your situation is going to do to remove the pain points, what exactly it means for the clients so they move forward. So the way this would look like for this. Now, one of the biggest problems that most people have found when they've grown an audience is how to actually convert these warm leads, these eyes, into actual cash and customers before. So the way that we solve that for our clients is I sit down with you one-on-one and consult you with my 4 years of being in the trenches, helping grow 6, 7, 8, and even 9-figure businesses with systems, templates, and processes distilled and installed right into your business. Now, what that will do for you is ensure that you're harvesting newly created audience of raving fans for ridiculous profits. Do you see how this could help you? Exactly. So you see that framework. Quickly, you do before, what your solution is gonna do, what it's going to mean for the client moving forward. Do you see how that works, or do you see how this can help you? It's a very, very simple process, and you usually want to keep it to about 2 to 3 pillars, or rather 3 to 4 pillars maximum, because at the end of the day, this is how to keep your sales pitch under 10 minutes. So you've gone through this entire process, and then you transition, and then boom, you're coming into the pitch. You come into the pitch, you have your pillars. What you're showing the client, or the potential client, up until you close them, you're just showing them this. But you on the side, you have this open, this a document similar to exactly what I'm showing you over here. You have that open, and you know that as much as them they're looking at that, as you're explaining it, you're explaining this and the pillars, so that as much as they're looking at everything, they're only looking at it for 10 minutes maximum. You're not going and spending like a whole 20 minutes or 25 minutes of the entire sales call just going, okay, so this is one, this is two, this is three, this is four, this is five, one, two, three. People get bored. People get bored ultimately. And if you're dealing with a sophisticated buyer, they don't really want to hear everything. They just want to hear like how this is going to help them. So that's the importance of this entire framework, because you're just showing them this is where you are, this is what we'll do, this is what it means for you. Do you see how that makes sense? You just clarify if that makes sense. More often than not, they'll be like, yeah, that makes sense, and then boom. Now, you do that, pillar 1, 2, 3, or 4 max, like I said, because you're trying to keep it short, and then from there you go straight into the committing phase. But that's now for another day. But yeah, essentially, this is how you keep your process under 10 minutes. I'll give the final example of automation. So this is another pillar of ours, still leveraging on the pain point of time. So as you can see here, remember when you said you just don't have the time to create content? Again, this is referencing earlier in the conversation, as I said, when you earlier do that information gathering and then you get that info. And you're like, okay, so remember when you said you don't have the time to create content? Well, what we do for our clients is we give you all our drop and deploy systems to create an easy production line for you to consistently deliver content week after week, just by spending an hour a week creating content, and then we'll handle the rest. Now, what this is going to do is going to give you the ability to spend more time in other areas of your business that will help you grow and scale, rather than being bogged down on what videos to create, how to edit them, and thinking about when to post them. Do you see how that works? Yeah. So I think that's pretty much it. I hope you guys have gotten some solid value from this. I hope this shortens your sales calls drastically, so that you can ultimately close more thousands and thousands of dollars. And one thing I need to add at the end is this is particularly for high ticket sales. If you're selling some stuff that's like under $1,000, you don't really need these other ways to pre-sell the prospect without necessarily having to go about this entire process. This is for particularly if you're selling very, very high ticket stuff. Our offer in and of itself is well into the tens of thousands of dollars. So, you have to completely, show the client exactly what they're getting, but at the same time being very conscious of their time, because if you're dealing with high value buyers, their time is very important. And that's why you can see I've literally used the pain point of time in 2 of my pillars, even though these 2 pillars are, it's like similar parts when it comes to the automation, but it's like you have the content and then you have the automation part, which are 2 different things. I could have added something else, but time, as I said, time is very important. So I hope you guys have gotten some value. If you're liking what I'm said, you're liking my energy, you would like to speak with me and find out more about what I do exactly for my clients, and how we help them scale. Like I said, we help grow multiple 7-8 figure businesses. So if you're interested in that, you can hit the link in the description, book a call with me, and we can figure something out. And I run a growth partnership company, so we basically come into your company as growth partners, and we turn your business upside down. So if that sounds interesting to you, book a call with me below. My name is Nate. I don't even think I said that at the beginning, but yeah. Cheers.